Happy Black Friday, everybody. It's Craig and Arun back with your Friday college football. I think we have like 17, 18 games here, so a good group of games, too. Not every year do we have the best of games, but I think this is a good Black Friday of games. Friday, November 28th, 28th for college football. Now, if you want to get in on our top plays, very easy to do so. We went to the boss man and we've got this deal. We've had it now. I think this is our 4th or 5th week. So make sure you get in it. It's 2 for 1. That's both of our football passes. That's both college football and the NFL. And you're going to get, if you get on Friday, you'll get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday's worth of games for us. So make sure you get in at docsports.com/Craig Arun to get the pass. And of course, if you're watching this ahead of time, make sure you get in because I know for sure I'm going to have at least one play on Thursday. I'm sure IC might as well. So make sure you get in on it. Also, don't forget about our premium products here at YouTube. This is where you can get extra plays. So yes, all the plays that our premium membership you can get over there at that link for football. But this is all the extra plays, and this is all sports included. $49.99 a month ends up being about $3,000 worth of plays if you buy the top play or the top level. You get all the levels, but you can buy the level 1, 2, or 3. The link is in the description to get. All right, we start off Friday's card with a MAC matchup. I guess this is called MAC action since it is a Friday weekday game in the MAC. Kent at Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois -5, total 45. What do you like here in two teams that aren't going bowling on this year?
Yeah, look, you have Kent as a 5-point dog coming into this game, and Northern Illinois 3-7. I will tell you that Kent comes off a huge win against Akron, 42-35. I thought they played really well that game, and they come in as another underdog here in this game. I mean, for a team that beat Bowling Green State 24-21, a team that beat UMass 42-6, a team that's already played Oklahoma and FSU and Texas Tech, that's pretty good. Now, I understand NIU comes off that huge win against Massachusetts, and of course they did win against Ball State, which Kent State did lose to. How does NIU respond after that great win? I'm going to back Kent State here. You're going to give me 5 points. I just don't understand why so many people are not backing Kent State here. I'm going to take the points here. I think this is a huge opportunity for Kent State. I don't trust NIU as they haven't won back-to-back games all year long. And I'm going to take the 5 points here, Craig, between Kent and NIU. All right, Craig, you're moving on to Iowa here as a 6.5-point chalk against Nebraska. Iowa 6-4, Nebraska 7-3. Iowa, tough loss against USC and Oregon, back-to-back losses. Now Nebraska, of course, coming off let me check something real fast here. Nebraska, of course, coming off that loss to Penn State in a game where Penn State's coaching staff is like, you don't need Rule, you have us, which is interesting. Iowa, of course, comes off that win against Michigan State, that comeback win 20-17, but they did not play well that game. So what do you like here? Do you like an Iowa's team that is favored by 6.5 points on the road, or do you like where they didn't play well, or do you like a Nebraska team that comes off a nice win against UCLA?
I thought Iowa was just good to get the win last week. It was a pretty emotional loss at USC the week before, and they've played all the good teams well. Like they could have easily won. They by the way, they covered in all those games against the good teams, but it's just they've been just short against the good teams. But against the bad teams, other than last week when it was a letdown spot, they've pretty much taken care of business. Is the Nebraska team? I think they're happy that they still have Matt Rule. He's signed an extension. Your quarterback's out for the year. You're already bowl eligible. I don't think there's a whole lot to play for here other than seniors at senior night. I'm going to take Iowa minus the 6.5. I'm not huge betting against teams on senior night, as a road underdog, as a home underdog, but I just think Iowa's that good. I think Iowa takes care of business. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on all the great content we have here at Doc Sports. Next game, Utah at Kansas, and this Utah team is really good. I mean, that one hiccup against really BYU, if they didn't lose that game, they really outplayed them and just a couple bad bounces. Otherwise, they're like everybody, I think would be talking about, okay, Texas Tech, Utah, winner's going to go to the national, to the potential to win a national championship in the playoffs. Utah -11.5, total 60. Can they keep it rolling?
Well, Kansas did cover against Arizona. Oh, well, I should say this. Let me pull up something here. The site that I'm using is not collating correctly. Yeah, Kansas comes off that bad loss to Iowa State, right, 14-38, where they did not play well. Utah, of course, Utah routed Baylor to their credit. They did lose to Texas Tech and to BYU, but the BYU's coach used to be Utah's assistant coach, which is part of the reason why. Utah did win against Kansas State 51-47. They made a big comeback because they were down 31-21 going into the half. Maybe they start this game a little bit faster. Kansas State comes off of a terrible loss. These two teams have never met, which actually helps Utah, I think. Anyway, but Kansas also trying to make it to a bowl game too, right? I think what happens here is that Utah probably starts off much faster than they did last game. They didn't start the last game particularly well. And, Utah returns a significant portion of their offensive starters, which is why they continue to have great offensive production this year. Kyle Whittingham has been a coach of this has been a coach here forever. So keep in mind that, Utah's defense has allowed some big rushing lines of late. But I think at the end of the day, given the slow start they had last time, I think Utah starts faster and probably gets it done here on the road. I will tell you that the last Utah game, they went into Baylor outside of the and then they won 55-28, right? They went into West Virginia and won 48-14, or Wyoming 31-6. They're no stranger to winning by big margins on the road. All right, Craig, you're going to lead us into this great Egg Bowl here between Ole Miss -7 against Mississippi State. Lane Kiffin is the hottest name in town, which seems to never, he's a character. He's definitely a personality that is, he's very funny. He's very smart. But here we are. They are a 7-point chalk against Mississippi State. I'm telling you, Ole Miss only beat them 26-14 last year. Dangerous game here for Ole Miss. They did beat Florida. They didn't start that game particularly well. They were down at the half, 24-20, before they had to put up 14-0 in the fourth quarter. What do you think happens there? Mississippi State's been a good team. They're 5-6. They could really use this game to get into a bowl game too. And they haven't covered back-to-back games, but that's the first time all year they haven't covered back-to-back games, losing to Missouri and Georgia. Who do you like here?
Remember when they had Texas absolutely beat and then allowed Texas to come back? That game really kind of looms large now, because that would put them as bowl eligible and a little less pressure against your highly ranked rival. But a couple of things going against, obviously, like you said, the distraction of Lane Kiffin, and I'm guessing he's leaving, because if he wasn't leaving, why would you not just sign an extension now and take that distraction away? But either way, I think any distraction, even if he does stay, just all those kids hearing like, oh, is the coach going to be here? Is he not? Does it mean I need to look somewhere else? I think there's a little distraction there. You're facing Mississippi State on senior night against their rivals, and they could keep them out of the playoffs potentially. I think that looms large. And I think Mississippi State, they were a kind of a tough luck loser about 3 times this year in an underdog spot. I think this is the time they put all those, those experiences and those close losses, and they put it together. I think they win this game, but I do think, and I see some 7.5s out there, so we're going to call it +7.5 Mississippi State, but I'm going to sprinkle on the money line too. I think of all the rivalry games this week, I think Auburn and this one are the most likely to get upsets. Maybe Michigan would be my third choice. So that's what I'm going to take in this Egg Bowl for this year. Ohio at Buffalo, very good game. Both of these teams at the top of the MAC. And we have Buffalo as a 7-point underdog. I was a little surprised with this. Total 45.5. What do you like here?
Yeah, so you have a situation here where, the total's at 44.5, right? So you have a 6-4 team and a 5-5 team. Ohio is 13-17. This is the first loss that Ohio has had since their loss to Ball State. They've had won 3 in a row prior to that. They only put up 13 points in their last game. And that was a situation where they, scored 7 points in the first quarter, and they didn't score until the fourth quarter. Ohio only passed for 70 yards in their last game, which is terrible. Look, they're going to try to bounce back, right? And they come in as a 7-point favorite. Buffalo, of course, comes in coming off that loss to Central Michigan, 19-38. They haven't lost back-to-back games since the Troy, Connecticut game. This is the most amount of points they've given up all year as well. It was this game where they were, they gave up 24 points in the second half, which is not good. And this total is slated at 44. I think with 2 winning teams hooking up here, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see this game go under the posted total. I don't want to go against Buffalo coming off one of their worst losses, which is why they're only a 7-point dog. I don't want to go against Ohio because, Ohio comes off of a loss too. But keep in mind that Ohio beat them 47-16 last year. I can easily see Buffalo covering this game. Plus the 7. So for me, I would look into possibly the under, or I would look into Buffalo plus the 7. If I had to take a side, I would take, or if I had to take something, I would take the indirect lean on Buffalo, because if Buffalo covers, the game is going to go under, right? That is what I think. That is how they beat Bowling Green State 28-3. That game went under. That is how, I think Buffalo tends to play better defense. So I'm going to take the under, Craig, 44.5. Craig, Air Force hooking up against Colorado State here. Air Force 2.5-point chalk on the road. They are 3-7. Colorado State is 2-8. Air Force off that tough loss to Connecticut, 16-26. Colorado State, tough loss to New Mexico, but they did cover. They lost 17-20. Who do you like here in this contest here? You have Colorado State did beat them 21-13 last year.
Yeah, this is not a good Colorado State team on the year, just 2-9 straight up. And I actually had to double check. I thought it seems like Air Force has won more. It's just they've had a couple really close losses. I think it was back-to-back weeks they lost last just at the end against Navy, then UNLV the same way. It's like you flip those two games, all of a sudden this team would be playing for a bowl bid here.
Oh, Craig, let me mention this real fast. Colorado State did play Boise State, lost 49-22. I did mention that. So Colorado State off of an ugly loss. There you go.
Air Force is not a team that you're like, oh, they're just giving up on the season. That's just not the MO of any of the armed forces teams, Air Force, Navy, Army, none of them. I think Air Force is like, hey, let's send out these seniors on a high. Yes, they're not going bowling. Let's get a win here. And Colorado State, I'm not saying they've given up, but they definitely aren't playing great football right now. I'm going to take Air Force minus the 2.5. Small play. I just think these are two bad teams, especially with the records. But I think Air Force is slightly good enough to get this job done. All right, good game here, I do believe. San Diego State, 1.5-point favorite on the road at New Mexico. New Mexico has had a little bit of a surprising year to most. We both thought New Mexico and New Mexico State were going to be better this year. Definitely New Mexico has held up their end of the bargain here. San Diego State is 8-2 straight up and 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. Does it continue here?
Yeah, notice the total is at 41.5. It's a low total. You have a San Diego State team that's 8-2. New Mexico 7-3. Both of them are going bowling. New Mexico did win 21-16 last time. So can San Diego State post a big win? San Diego State off of a monster win against Boise State 17-7. They have covered 8 of their last 10 games. And they did beat Cal 34-0 earlier this year, if you remember. So they come off a pretty exciting win. They also have, decent revenge. New Mexico, of course, comes off 4 straight wins. Big wins against Colorado State, UNLV, Utah State, and Nevada. They played terrible against Colorado State, and they did not cover in that game. They've had a little bit. They had to put up 10 points in the fourth quarter just to win that game. They've had some time off as well. It's an interesting game, whereas New Mexico comes off of a bad effort. San Diego State comes off of a monster win, but San Diego State's the one that's got the revenge, and the total sits at 41.5. I will tell you that San Diego, keep in mind that, Sean Lewis used to be the head coach over at Kent State before coming to San Diego State. I think this could be an opportunity. So it's not, the revenge is not as relevant for them. And I think because New Mexico State played so bad in their last game, I know that San Diego State lost their last game in Hawaii, but I'm going to back New Mexico here, plus the 1.5. I think they just played so bad against Colorado State. I think they're going to bounce back fine. Craig Temple plus 19.5 dog against North Texas here on a total of 64.5. Temple, by the way, comes off back-to-back losses. They need this win. Last game of the year for them they lost by 1 point to Army, and they lost badly to ECU. North Texas is 9-1, coming off a huge win against UAB, Navy, Charlotte, UTSA covered all 4. What do you like here?
Well, they're actually 10-1. This is their last game here, North Texas. Temple needs this for bowl eligibility too. So this means a lot, but obviously a lot more for Texas because Texas still, they could go. There's 3 teams. We'll know Navy plays on, I believe, Thursday. So if Navy loses, which they play Memphis, they're an underdog. If they lose this game, if North Texas wins, they'll play Tulane in the championship in the American. And a lot of people think whoever wins that game will get the bid for the non-power 5 team, 4 team, whatever they call that, for the playoffs. So this is a lot of things on the line for North Texas. Is maybe that a little too much pressure? I think so. I think this is one of those where they maybe play a little tight early, allow Temple to stay in. Temple's playing desperate because they're trying to get to bowl eligibility. I'm going to take the underdog here. I do think North Texas pulls this out. I think their offense is just a little too much late, but I'm going to play the underdog here plus the 19.5. And I'd wait till game time because I'm thinking you might get 20, maybe even 20.5. I think the line will move as a lot of people, 72% as we're recording this on Wednesday. Tuesday, are on North Texas already. All right, next game, Georgia and Georgia Tech. Good rivalry game with a lot on the line. I still think if Georgia Tech wins this game, I think a lot of people will say they deserve to be in to the playoffs. And I think they are a live underdog here at 13.5. Georgia's favored by 13.5, total 60 at Georgia Tech here. What do you like?
Yeah, and before I do that, let me just mention this real fast here. Be sure to jump on YouTube Premium when you get a chance. I do about 150 extra games, all for $20 a month, including a written summary. Pretty incredible deal. And you get Lenny for free on that level 2. If you get level 3, you get me and Lenny for free. You get Craig's 3 extra premium selections, which are actually worth $90 every day for every single day for an extra video, all for $50 a month, which includes the other 2 channels as well. So, and you literally get an extra video every single day, which is pretty awesome. College basketball off to a 14-5 start, plus 4,100. NBA off to a 23-12 start for plus 3,600. So jump on all of that. All right, look, here's the deal. I think Georgia's going to win this game big. I know it sounds crazy, but this is the reason why. I watched that game in Georgia Tech last year, and it was a 44-42 huge win by Georgia, if you remember. And Georgia had to come back and put up a 21. They put up 21 points in the fourth quarter, 6 points. I mean, they were down 17-0 in the half, only to have this game go to the overtime and Georgia winning.
Was it double or was it triple overtime that game? I think
it was triple overtime. Yeah, they put up 21 points in the fourth quarter, and the fourth quarter program was Kirby Smart learned it from Nick Saban, right? With Coach Cochran coaching that fourth quarter program. So when everyone else is tiring, that's when Georgia really picks it up. But look, Georgia Tech coming off a big win, obviously, they're coming off a loss against Pittsburgh. And I know maybe they were looking ahead to this game. Maybe they'll put out their heart. But I'm telling you, Georgia Tech has looked very human, losing to NC State by 12, beating Boston College by 2, favored by 16.5, losing to Pittsburgh. That was my free play on Saturday, if you remember. Georgia's getting primed at the right spot, dude. They beat Ole Miss at the end of the day by 8. They beat Mississippi State by 20. They throttled Texas, by 25. And in a game where they put up 21 points in the fourth quarter. They took Georgia Tech lightly last year. They will not take Georgia Tech lightly this year, okay? So I think what's going to happen here is that Georgia still has 7 starters back. Georgia Tech does not take them lightly. I understand Georgia Tech comes off of a loss. I think Georgia's going to, if Georgia Tech was truly expected to do well, I would think that this line would be closer to 7.5, and it's not. I'm back in Georgia minus the points here. How's it? Sign up for our free $60 for the premium selections, which is docsports.com/ICCT. You get free $60 of the premium selections so you can try us out. It's the best way to kind of thank us for all the hard work that we do, along with liking and subscribing and joining on YouTube Premium. All right, Craig, Boise State here hooking up against Utah State. Boise State minus 3.5 point chalk on the road against Utah State. 6-14 facing a 5-5 team. Boise State off back-to-back. Boise State coming here beating Colorado State in the last game. The site I'm using is not collating correctly. But I do remember Boise State coming off that big win against Colorado State. Utah State, of course, they had lost that UNLV contest there. Boise State won 62-30 last year. Who do you like here?
Well, the one that we don't have to worry about, both these teams are bowl eligible. Boise State on the year 7-4, 6-5. These are straight up numbers. Utah State. So both of them are bowl eligible. Utah State's been money at home, 5-0, both straight up and against the spread. I think they're a live underdog here. I'm not even messing with Boise. This is just not the Boise team that people remember last year or even the last decade. This is a flawed Boise team. Every once in a while, you're just going to have a down year. That's the case this year for Boise. I think they're, at this point of the year, they're used to being playing for the the Mountain West Championship game. They're not going to be there this year. I think Utah State takes advantage of that. At home, senior night beats up on Boise. I'm going to take the 3.5 here, and sprinkle on the money line a little bit too. Battle of Indiana at Purdue. They look to improve on their 11-0 season. Purdue just 2-9 with new coach Odom. They're a 28.5 point dogs here at home. Total 54. What do you like?
Well, both these teams have had some time off, if I'm not mistaken. They last played on November the 15th. Purdue coming off that 13-49 loss against Washington, and Indiana coming off that 31-7 win against Wisconsin, but they didn't play particularly well in that game. But they were able to win 31-7. Wisconsin's also playing better right now too. We've been noticing that too. Keep in mind that Indiana coming off a 66-0 throttling last time out. Of Purdue. So it's interesting here. Purdue's not going bowling. They're 2-9. Maybe they get up. Maybe they play their hearts out possibly. But again, this is a lot of familiarity between these two teams, given that this is in Indiana. This is a tough game, Craig, to be honest with you, because Indiana also has they have bigger fish to fry. And Purdue, of course, coming off that bad loss to Washington. But I will tell you this: Purdue did play great against Ohio State, losing 10-34. They played great against Michigan, losing 16-21. I think Purdue hangs tough, man, and I think they remember last year's loss. I think they're going to put all their hearts on the line. And that Washington loss is not entirely their fault. Because Washington was coming off that loss to Wisconsin in a game that I should have been I don't do 8 stars, but should have been my 7-star. It should have been that Washington game. I'm going to take Purdue here. I think they're going to hang tough, and I think they're going to put it all out there on the line. All right, Craig. Texas A&M facing Texas here. By the way, I want to tell, whenever I say Michigan, I say Michigan. And someone is like, why does he always say Michigan? It's just a funny way to say it because my friends from Michigan, I'll call it Michigan. You know what I mean? Because it's just a funny way to say it. It's like an inside joke. But people are just people have no sense of humor, Craig. Oh, Michigan should be spelled M-I-I-I. But when I looked it up on Google, it's spelled M-I-C-H. People are just, the funny thing is 99% of the people get our jokes. It's like when I say, how's it?
I don't know about 99, maybe 90.
90. Like when I'm like, how's it? Well, isn't it? How is it? And I'm like, it's a Neil Everett reference from the 90s Sports Center for all of us that watched Sports Center in the 1990s. You know what I mean? I'm like, how do you guys even go to the restroom and pull up your jockstrap sometimes? But the other people get the jokes. That's how's it is a Neil Everett reference, because it's a funny way of saying, how is it? That was the days, man. Neil Everett, Stan Verrett, that was awesome. All right, getting back to this. So I'm about to say Texas A&M. And I was about to be like Texas A&M versus Tejas. Tejas. Oh, but I saw on Google it's spelled Texas. No, Texas A&M and Tejas here. Total of 51.5. Very interesting game. Texas beat them 17-7 last year. All right, so Texas A&M rolls in here. Bad game against South Carolina, winning 31-30. Texas losing to Georgia 10-35. They could bounce back, but I got to tell you something, Craig. I don't think they're going to bounce back. I think Texas A&M might throttle them here. I'm really surprised that the line's only 2.5. My thinking is, and let me know what you think, bad game against South Carolina, maybe looking ahead to this game. I know Texas off of a bad loss, but that revenge from Elko's last year. What do you think?
Well, Texas, they really consider their rival to be Oklahoma. Texas A&M considers their rival to be Texas. So it means a lot. It means a lot. For A&M, it's kind of like Michigan, Ohio State. Whoever wins that game, it's considered a successful season. Ohio State last year losing to Michigan and winning a national championship, there's still people that wanted Coach Day fired. That's just the way these rivalries work. And A&M has had this game circled all season long. That's why they had a little bit of a letdown last week. But, a good team can play bad and find a way to win. That's why Texas A&M is a good team. I think Texas A&M is better on both sides of the ball. I know Manning's playing a little better the last half of the season, but I still think he'll probably throw a turnover, have a fumble. He'll probably be the one that costs them this game, in my opinion. I'm taking Texas A&M minus the 2.5. I think they win by a touchdown plus, and it probably will be closer on the scoreboard than what I really feel like it will be, if that makes any sense. I do think they cover, though, this week. Battle of Arizona next, last game for Friday. I think they're both pretty good teams. 8-3, both of them. Obviously, ASU, Coach Dillingham losing the quarterback really kind of gave them no chance to win again this year and get back to the playoffs. But an 8-3, if you turn to a 9-3 season, would still be a very big success at Arizona State. Arizona's favored by -2 here, total 47.5. I think this probably will be my top play on Friday. So if you want to get it, make sure you get it on that football pass, docsports.com/Craig Arun, and you'll get what my expert opinion on this one is. But hey, let's give them what you like in this game.
So Arizona beat Baylor, right? 41-17 in their last contest. This is a team that had beaten Cincinnati prior to that, Kansas, Colorado. Ending the year on a good note. They are it's probably why I said 9-1 the other day, because it's not collating the site that I'm using. So they are 8-3 coming into this game. Arizona State, of course, comes into this game, beating Colorado 42-17. That was a huge, huge win. Maybe that young quarterback is kind of figuring things out here. They beat Iowa State and beating West Virginia here, so they won 3 in a row as well. Arizona State, though, throttled them 49-7 last year. I think the benchmark for this game is the fact that Arizona nearly beat BYU 27-33. Okay. And I think that means something here. The total was interesting too, that it came in at 47.5. I think Arizona will play much better defense here than the debacle they had last year when they gave up 49 points to this team. I think Arizona State will play decent defense too, because the only way they're going to win this game is through defense. It's not going to be through offense as well. So I will back. I'm going to back the under in this game. I just want you to know that you have Arizona State that returns 16 players, right? And this game is known as the Territorial Cup, by the way. So I think what will happen here is that this game probably goes under the posted total. Remember, last year's game was totaled at 53.5, and now this year's game is totaled at 47.5. And I think it's done that for a good reason. So I'm taking the under.
All right, there what we have for Friday's games. Don't forget, at the end of this video, click the playlist. You can get all the football. We have it broke down by day, including NFL and college football. We also have every day. We have every game for NBA, and then we do a rundown most days for college basketball as well. So make sure you get in on all of our free video content. But most importantly, you want to win this weekend, Thanksgiving weekend. You want to pay those Black Friday bills. Do this. 2-for-1 football pass, just $99. You'll get both of our plays for the weekend, a total of 14 plays between Thursday and Monday. DocSports.com/Craig Arun. If you want to get in on the extra plays, put this in on top of that. Purchase the YouTube Premium. The link is in the description below. Just $49.99 a month. So that's what? Less than $1.70 a month per day, and you get a total of an extra 5 to 7 plays per day. That's a $3,000 worth of pick value. Make sure you get it. All right, guys, have a great day. See you again tomorrow.